Today, we'll be talking about RAG, which is Retrieval Augmented Generation. Here you go. How do LLM get knowledge? They basically get knowledge in three ways. Number one, pre training. Pre training basically establishes a foundational knowledge to the model. In this process, we have to feed in billions or and trillions of tokens. What are tokens? They are just basic units of input. It can be a word, it can be a subword, it can be a combination of words, depend on the model that we are using. As you see the diagram on the right hand side, the x's are the tokens. In this pre-training process, the weights are readjusted throughout the entire process. So W1 to WN are the weights. Number two, fine tuning. So once the model is pre-trained, now you want the model to specialize in a specific task. What do? You do fine tuning. Once the fine tuning is done, the model hopefully becomes a specialist in that particular task, but it may or may not be relevant to the other tasks. Depends on how the training is done. It's basically used for use cases where retrieval is not allowed, where we need low latency and high precision scenarios. Thousands of annotations are used as compared to billions and trillions in pre-training. And these examples and annotation has to be domain specific. In this process, the weights are adjusted as per the specific data set. That's fine tuning. Now, number three, passing context. You can pass off context to ChatGPT when you're asking a query. That's one way. But there are smarter ways also. Let's say you want to pass all the information about your company or your department to an LLM and then get a response. How do you do it in a smarter way? By developing a RAG. In RAG, the weights are not adjusted. Now, if you look at the diagram on the bottom right, it's a very top view diagram where a user asks a query and there's no context in a user query, but we retrieve the context, and then that retrieve context augments the prompt, and now the augmented prompt goes into the LLM. Now let's go deeper into this process by studying a sample architecture of RAG. What happens in a RAG architecture? Here we go. The user asks a query to the LLM. The embedding LLM converts the user query into the embeddings, as you see prompt embeddings. Secondly, there's another embedding LLM as seen in the bottom left where all the company related docs or the information present on the website gets passed into the embedding LLM, and these are converted into document embeddings. After this process, a magical process happens called similarity search, where we get an augmented prompt as an output in which the user query is augmented by all the related documents and chunk of data, and this then gets passed into the generation model. The generation model then processes the combined data, which is the original prompt and the retrieved information, and then generates a response which is contextually very relevant to the user. There are multiple ways on how you can enhance this entire architecture, but that's a topic for another video. Thank you guys.